You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Sleazy Trump destroyed hope of national glory in a single phone call, based on an article by John Casey. Trump turned a red card into a power test, not a soccer story. The surface event is simple enough. U.S. striker Folarin Balogun got a red card, faced an automatic ban, and then FIFA backed off after Donald Trump called Gianni Infantino. That is the factual core. Everything else is the damage around it. What matters is not whether Balogun should have played. What matters is that the President of the United States inserted himself into a disciplinary decision he had no legitimate role in, and the head of FIFA bent. That is the story. Who actually has power? Trump does not own Team USA. He does not run FIFA. He is not the coach, not the Federation president, not a neutral official. He is a political executive with a taste for intrusion and the leverage that comes with the office. Infantino, by contrast, runs the body that made the decision. FIFA had the authority to suspend the ban, and it did. That is where responsibility sits. The red card may have been debatable, but the reversal was not some mysterious force of nature. It was a decision made by powerful men who know exactly how power works and how to use it for their friends. This is why the just asking for a review framing is such a dodge. A president leaning on the head of the sport's governing body is not ordinary advocacy. It is pressure from the top of one hierarchy into another. The fact that it worked tells you everything. Corruption with a smile. The source text is right to call this what it is, favoritism that reeks of corruption. Trump bragged about the intervention afterward. FIFA then dressed the reversal in mushy bureaucratic language, suspending the suspension for a probationary period, as if word games can launder a political favor. This is not subtle. Belgium called the reversal unprecedented, incomprehensible, and unjustifiable, and its appeal was denied. That tells you the institution is not merely imperfect. It is willing to protect its own decision after bending to political pressure, which is exactly how credibility dies, first by compliance, then by denial, then by pretending the public is supposed to be too distracted to notice. The problem is not just that Trump is shameless. Shamelessness is a tactic, not a personality quirk. He understands that institutions under strain can be pushed, then publicized, then normalized. FIFA knew what it was doing. Infantino does not come off as an unwilling victim here. The article describes a relationship in which he has spent months building political cover for Trump, including the grotesque spectacle of handing him a FIFA Peace Prize. That is not neutrality. That is dependency dressed up as diplomacy. FIFA has money on the line. The tournament is in the U.S. Broadcasting rights matter. Hosting matters. Access to power matters. Infantino's behavior makes sense only if you understand that FIFA is not some pristine global referee. It is a political and commercial machine with incentives, and Trump is useful to it. So when FIFA caved, the issue was not merely one red card in one match. It was the exposure of a system that pretends to be international and impartial while responding to the leverage of the most reckless actor in the room. The real damage is contagion. The source article notices the split response. Some American fans are happy because their team benefits. Others are embarrassed. Overseas fans see yet another example of Trump poisoning the event. That division is not incidental. It is the point. Trump does not just abuse institutions. He turns every institution he touches into a loyalty test and a grievance machine. Once he intervenes, the question is no longer whether the call was right. It becomes who can be bought, who can be bullied, and who gets to claim the result was earned. That is how authoritarian politics metastasizes. The act is not the whole harm. The harm is the precedent, the normalization, the lesson handed to every future actor watching from the sidelines. If you have enough power, rules become negotiable. The pattern behind the episode, the larger political pattern here is not Trump does outrageous things again. That is too small. The real pattern is institutional cowardice in the face of pressure from a man who treats every boundary as a dare. FIFA had the authority to say no. It chose not to. That choice matters because it shows how elite institutions often collaborate in their own degradation. They protect access, profit, and proximity to power, then act shocked when legitimacy collapses. The red card is not the point. The point is that Trump keeps finding institutions with weak spines and strong incentives to comply. He does not need to own them. He only needs them to behave like they already belong to him. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Raw Story for today's article, with the automated voice of Joe. Thanks for listening.